Oh, that's not it.
Hello. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. My name is Tia Marie. Thank you for joining Kindred Souls with Tia Marie tonight. If you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe, please do so. Thank you all for the subscribers. The last time I checked, I believe we hit the 90 mark or came pretty close to it. So we're getting really close to 100. I'm so happy to have people following and wanting to participate in the show. Hopefully, you found many of the shows very helpful. I want to introduce my co host tonight, which is Ra Asset, or Combative with, with a nice voice. Um, and so, thank you all for joining us. We're just going to get started here in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for our viewers tonight. I am extremely excited to be here with you. Thank you to my co host, Ra Asset, for joining us, and to the producer of my wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you all for being patient with us. I know we're starting a little bit late tonight, but because you are such loyal, loyal followers, I know that you'll give me grace tonight and still hang out with us for a little while. I'm going to try to keep the show as simple and sweet as we possibly can, not go too long tonight. So I hope that you find tonight's programming useful. All right. First of all, I want to again remind you to follow us on YouTube on Kindred Souls with Tia Marie. In the bottom of our chat, there will also be a place where you can comment. I'm eager to see your comments today. Looks like we have a comment from Check Yourself. So, hello, Check Yourself. I'm going to do that tonight, okay? I also want to just remind you across the bottom of your screen, in order for us to continue to do this program and to continue to bring you content that you like, please notice that there is a Cash App link, and please share. All right, so tonight's subject, I know that many of you are probably wondering how and why and what. What do I mean when I say that you are not marriage material, which is tonight's topic? Now, I already got some text about this because it posted on my Twitter. I got some personal text with some of my lady friends going like, "What? I thought you were the person that said that I am marriage material." So I am going to tell you a little bit about why that is. So hang out with us, get nice comfy seat, and we'll get started. Asset, can you say hello to our friends?
Yes, thank you. Hello and welcome. I just want to make sure you can hear me. I'm over here enjoying. I'm excited to see what this is talking about because it says you are not marriage material, and I kind of get this question a lot because I've never been married, right? And so people are like, well, basically, kind of, what's wrong with you, right? So I'm very
Are
curious
you
to see
married or
what
are you
you have in
dead? Are you
store.
married
I,
or are you dead? Right?
I mean, I don't really know at this point. I really don't know. So I'm really curious to kind of see what you have in store with you. So I mean, store with this. So so there's a what exactly are we going to see? I'm not sure if you know, but there's a video that kind of talks about some of the women side of it, to maybe why they may not be possibly married, because men will say, women don't act a certain way, or we're not marriage material and we need to get it together, which I do agree, because we do need to get it together. But I definitely agree with that. So we're going to check out this video and kind of see what she's saying. I don't know. Have you seen the video before?
So I've seen parts of the video, and that's kind of where I'm trying to take our show tonight, which is just to understand the balance of what is being said here and to give it even more context. So, yeah, let's get into it. I'm sure there'll be more comments once
All right, so
we see this
I'm I'm
happening.
I'm actually I'm gonna pull it up here. So we're gonna try to break it down just a little bit in parts, because it's a lot to kind of take in, from my understanding.
And
So I
can we
guess we're
just
gonna.
acknowledge the person that's on the
Yes,
whose video this
absolutely. I'm
is?
glad you
Yeah.
said that. Absolutely. And I'm going to put that in the credits as well. Her name is Mahogany Pink, and I'm going to put her information right now into the chats while we're watching it. This is called The False Promise of Black Love Part 1. So there is a part 2 to this. So we're just kind of going to go through a little bit of it and kind of dig through it and kind of see, what it's about. All right. So we're just going to go
Ever
into it.
since you were a little girl, you've been seeing images of black love on the TV screen that looked like this, or this, or this. But in reality, black love has always looked a little more like this.
Extra aggressive.
Yo, like, you are the fuck.
Investigators say after killing Kenyatta, O'Neill brutally murdered his 9-year-old daughter Ranivia and tried to stab to death his 8-year-old son, also named Ronnie, before setting him and the house on fire.
In case you didn't know, sociologists that have studied the decline and dysfunction of the Black American family are for the most part in agreement. The model of exclusive Black love, that is to say, a culture where Black people in America will only make themselves romantically available to other Black people in America, is unsustainable. Specifically, Black women's collective decision to make themselves exclusively available to Black men is unsustainable. Why? Well, short answer, there aren't enough marriageable hetero Black men to meet the demand of marriageable hetero Black women. Most experts name mass incarceration as the leading cause, but whatever you think the issue is, the fact remains that the community has a shortage of gainfully employed Black men who can support a family and are looking to marry a Black woman, short by about several million in fact, and this is causing a host of problems. In his book, The Racial Hierarchy, evolutionary psychologist C. Paul Grandison explains that when you have a sex ratio imbalance like the one that Black America has, specifically one that favors the men, the result is that the men become aggressively and deceptively competitive for short-term sexual relationships. They stop looking for love or marriage, and they're definitely not monogamous. Essentially, they try to build a harem for themselves. Because they have this power, they're able to set the terms of relationships, and naturally, they choose terms that are in their favor, ones that give them the most commitment from a woman while offering the least in return. This changes the behavior of the women looking for a committed partner, and they become much more sexually active earlier in the relationship in an effort to try to lock down a partner. Additionally, a woman may see a man who's already in a committed relationship and try to take that man for herself out of desperation. Grandison also goes on to say that these men who are spoiled with more options than they should have take a longer time to commit to their partners, express more dissatisfaction with their partners, are more likely to cheat on their partners, and more likely to abandon their partners. He says that he believes that there would be fewer divorces and fewer illegitimate children if the sex ratio imbalance wasn't so great because, well, the men would be more loyal. And in part because of that imbalance, we now have a culture that permits, maybe even encourages, Black men to use their status as marriageable, i.e. a Black man with a job who isn't in jail, as leverage for as many sexual partners as he can get. And if you try to quote-unquote compete for these men, you'll likely find yourself locked into extended periods of situationships, entanglements, and sneaky links as friends with benefits, or worse, permanent placeholder girlfriends, commonly known as wifeys. In other words, very little return on your investment. And yet, you are being pitched Black love by Black media and the conscious community like it's the answer to all of your problems, like it's the answer to all of the community's problems. All Black men and women need to do is come together and restore the Black nuclear family, stop this fighting on the internet, and problem solved, we're unstoppable. But instead of addressing what experts have identified as the core issues destroying Black families, like male unemployment and underemployment, and the high crime rates amongst Black males that lead to the sex ratio imbalance, imbalance, the community has decided that you are the actual problem. You say that you can't find a good black man. They say that you're overlooking them for the thugs and players. You say that you're not attracted to thugs and you've never dated one. They say that good black men find you to be too masculine. You say you've never had a problem attracting men, just getting commitment and monogamy out of them. They'll say.
So I really wanted to key in on that very last part, where you say what is happening and they tell you that you're not doing your part. You say you've always attracted black men, you just can't get them to commit. I don't think that any of the women, and you guys let me know in the chat, have had any trouble attracting men, have had any trouble wanting men that are ready to, let's call it, bed you, and bed you very soon. But her very key point, and so let's make sure we're really clear, there are very few men who want to commit and marry you. The buck stops at bed you, attracted to you, will date you, but that commitment piece and that 7 million in the negative that we have to choose from when it comes to the commitment puts us at even worse odds. So I just want to make sure that before, because I do see that the chat has a few things. And guys, we're streaming on a couple different platforms. So thank you for putting in your comments. I will try to get to all of them. Thank you so much. So right now, I just want to say hello to a couple people. Thank you for Check Yourself for being in the chat. Thank you to Reps and to Charles Alexander. Appreciate your post. And we'll start to put some of your posts at the bottom. Yeah, this a lot of this I do believe is part of a long-standing legacy of us not ever actually knowing what our black family should look like, how we construct our black families, and what it looks like to protect our black families. And when given the option, mentally, emotionally, socially, and maybe even financially, we still don't choose black. I know there are a lot of people who take this particular person, um, Mahogany Pink, and they don't like what she has said. And I understand that. They also maybe don't like her delivery of how she's saying it. They maybe don't agree with what she shared. And I can understand if you don't understand this work and you haven't done your homework, you probably won't agree. But please go do your own homework. I will tell you that nothing in what she stated was not factual when she shared those statistics. Nothing in what she shared, most women would not tell you has been their experience where they're in relationships or she called them she had a very clever word for what she called them, but you're in these holderships basically and placeholders as the men that you are attracted to are not deciding that you are worthy for whatever reason beyond sexual partnership or living together. They're not finding that you are someone that is worth more than that. And then you find yourself tolerating that and waiting by the bedside of some guy, as you try to figure out, is he going to pick me, choose me, love me, care for me, protect me? And I just hope one day that he does. Now, is that every woman? Absolutely not. Is it every man? Absolutely not. So I can clear that off the table right now. At no point in this entire program are we talking about every man and every woman. But we are talking about those who find themselves in these situations and do not know either how to stop, how to get out of them, or what is it that they are actually waiting for. So that's what we're going to chop up tonight. So thank you for our guests in the chat room. I'm just going to do a quick scan of the chat, make sure I'm good. Okay. So before we get into some of the questions that I have, Ra'asset, do you have any questions or comments about the section that we just saw?
I don't know if it's a question, but it's almost like a. I aha moment where we did a space on Twitter a couple days ago, and we talk about, do black men want to be married? And we didn't have that many people, but all of the men pretty much said yes, right? They wanted to be married. And then, so I'm thinking it over and I'm like, wow, I mean, that's interesting, but the numbers doesn't show that. And as this young lady, she really broke down on why, like, so every time there's always a reason why we're not acceptable. It's always a reason. Either we have
Mhm.
degrees, either we're too masculine, either we're too fat, either we're too dark, either we're too light, either we're too I'm not sure.
We're
And
in
I
a it's a no win. It's a
almost like a no-win
non-starter.
situation.
It's a non-starter. Goes right in a complete circle, right back to the beginning.
And I also think too, a lot of the men that black men that are single that can be eligible for dating purposes. So the men pick dating. They're the ones that pick the dating. So if you are a black man who is not pro-black, that's also an issue for a lot of women, because especially a lot of single women, because I know for a fact you come across a lot of men who are more um they willing to go get along, the get along game. And a lot of black women don't like that, because I had to realize there's a certain class of black women that are warriors, that are people that want to do the work, but they're still feminine, but for somehow that's looked at differently. And she talks about this too. And then I, growing up, I realized being sexual was the way to get attention. That's what
Really,
I mean.
some
Honestly,
promiscuity.
that was the way to get attention. Because if you was like the church choir girl, God's not really paying you no attention. So I'm very interested to see more that she didn't say. But there's some more people there in the chat. They're definitely have some things to say. So
So let's see if we'll read a couple of things. Give me just a
okay.
second, guys. I'm gonna get right over to you. Let me just see here.
So let's go here to Reps. He says, some say this the course of sex forms for chattel slavery. I do agree with that, because they have made sex to be more of like a deviant kind of thing, when sex is to reproduce. To be able to have sex and to make love and be in love with someone is something that should be cherished. But black people as a group have condemned and made sex so derogatory. Like it's like we don't even pressure. It's like everybody's just look at all of the rappers today, the female rappers today, right? And we also have Check Yourself. He says, why are females often blamed for the failures of not holding relationships together? Tia Marie, what do you say about that?
Yeah, Black women carry that burden. I hear often about how we're not, the our attitude is a problem, the way we look is a problem, the way we talk is a problem. But I never quite hear um, where the shared responsibility of these issues are. I think we're an easy scapegoat. I think we're also an easy target because we happen to be experiencing this, but God forbid you complain of your status in this circle. So it's almost like, yeah, we're blaming you, but how dare you say it's not your fault? How dare you push back against that blame and want equal responsibility? Um, equal responsibility in this practice. So I think it's really important that the way we talk about it tonight. So as she has laid out, and this is Mahogany Pink, as she has laid out like just what the facts are, that before we think about what the response is, we ask ourselves a couple of questions. One is, have you seen behavior or experienced behavior that is similar to what she is talking about? And let's see, a couple of things that are in the chat. Um, oh, thank you at Tia Marie from Reps. Just shared this live. That's how I know. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. And let's see. Charles is saying something about the need for a purple ride in Prince George's County, Maryland. Shows you how messed up black men have maybe gotten. Just so you know, Charles, your chat, I think it will only let you put so much in the chat. So you may want to keep the comments to like 280 characters in order to get your full chat in. But yes, thank you very much. Um, all right. So, uh, in the chat, if anybody would like to share, have you experienced any part of what was talked about in the video? Let's start there. I know I can definitely tell you I have. Actually, I was literally checking boxes of like, yep, dealt with that. Yep, been called a single mom that had no options. Yep, got divorced. Yep, been told don't date outside your race. Yep, been told you don't look a certain way. Yep, been told that you're not good enough or nope, not marriage material, not ever going to be married again. There wasn't anything on that list that I haven't heard personally.
I agree. It's so let's continue. So we kind of stopped
Hmm.
off where she was saying where black women are not eligible in certain ways for certain people. It's not all people. We will definitely say that. This is not
Hmm.
putting everybody in a group, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Here we go. Here we go.
Hmm.
you didn't earn it or that high value men have the right to exercise their options. You'll explain that they aren't that high value because you're going more than 50-50 on everything. They'll say that your standards are unrealistic. You say that you commonly date men who don't meet your standards. They'll say that you need to choose better. You'll say there isn't better to choose from. And here we go back and forth in an endless circle jerk with no one acknowledging the real issues. And why won't they do it? Why won't they simply say that the men aren't playing their part in the institution of black love as protectors and providers, and they're the ones who need to alter their behavior? Well,
I'm not hearing you right now.
I'm sorry. I want to
There we go.
rewind that and I want to come in just a little bit on that because she said something I thought that was quite interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go in on this, and so this was she, listen.
isn't better to choose from. And here we go back and forth in an endless circle jerk with no one acknowledging the real issues. And why won't they do it? Why won't they simply say that the men aren't playing their part in the institution of black love as protectors and providers? And
She said, "Why won't men admit that they're not playing black men admit that they're not playing their part in the institution of black love as protectors and providers?"
Hmm.
And I thought that was very interesting because as a younger person back in the day, trying to mate and trying to, because I knew what a protector and provider was. That was really my problem, right? So like, it's you when you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like. Look at the numbers. I mean, am I lying?
No, the numbers are what they are, but I don't know one that most of us even understand what the detriment of those numbers are doing to our community. When we look at the safety of our children in these spaces, like schools, as they start their first employment, I've in the last week, because I work with students, talked to 3 students in 7 days who are all experiencing racism at their job and right here in our community at 3 different schools. And so this isn't just like a one off or sometimes. Our children are also detrimentally affected by the fact that the very leaders that are supposed to exist in our community are not stepping up. I am very fortunate in my family personally. I have brothers and my father who have been wonderful leaders in the community. But they are the one offs. It's rare. I mean, I can go down our entire city block and honestly tell you that I can think of only 2 dads who have really stepped forward into the space of protection, into the space of commitment, into the space of accountability and responsibility, because that's the commitment that those women are looking for. And I don't know yet, and I haven't heard from men in the argument against what she just shared that no, absolutely, I'm ready for commitment and responsibility. Not just poo pooing what's been said, but then tell me what the opposite of that is. Show me what the opposite of that is. I am 100% okay with you saying, you know what, everything she said, down with that. Because I, as a black man, and all my friends as black men, we are ready for commitment. We are prepared for the commitment, the accountability, and the responsibility that is necessary to protect our women, our sisters, our mothers, our wives, and our daughters. But I don't hear that. And I would love that be the overwhelming sound to take instead of just saying, oh, her numbers are wrong, because they're not wrong. Please go do your own research. They are not wrong. But what I don't see is what it looks like on the other side overwhelmingly. What I do know is 57% of black women, 57% of the college students, rather, 57% of college students in the United States who attend college and graduate happen to be black women. We're the
Mm.
largest number of educated women over all other women is 57% of us are highly educated. So this is not a, oh, you're the kind of mama that don't do this or don't do that and can't achieve anything. The 57% of the United States college students, of which there are several million, 57% are black women. So we're not talking about baby mamas as people like to put that stigma and then attach ignorance and attach all of these negative things to it. These are women who graduate from college after putting in 4 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years to acquire the necessary degrees in order to go into the profession that they want to go into. They're highly disciplined young ladies. And
What
so
about the
to
young
be
men
part,
though?
unfortunately, the percentage of black young men that attend college in the United States is under 18%.
And why do you think that is? Okay, so let me just, so this is kind of where, this is where the numbers are, this is where my concern is coming in at. If black men are telling us our degrees do not matter,
Which black men? Are they undegreed black men or degreed black men?
let's say both, because
Hmm.
I have not personally done the numbers, so I'm just going to go out with both because if they're on YouTube and they have analytics that stating that these black men that are high earners and high value men do not care about women's degrees, in which I can understand where that comes in at, because what else do you have? Because like some women kind of just like rest on their degree because they don't
Well,
know.
here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say about the degree, though. I understand I don't care because I will dot dot dot. What fill in the blank. I get that they don't care. That's fine. But the reason why women are getting their degree is because there aren't men there to fill in that dot dot dot. There
That's
aren't men that
exactly
are
why.
going, there aren't
That's the
men,
kicker part of
yes.
it.
There are not men who say, oh, if you don't get your degree because you're 20, you're 18, you're 22, you're 24, I will marry you or I want to provide for you. I want to take care of you. So that's why you don't need your degree. That's not what they're saying.
That really kind of leads us into the topic as well. You are not marriage material, right? Because nobody, no, the black men are not saying, "Hey, I want to get married. This is what I want. This is what my marriage in my mind looks like. This is what a partnership looks like. This is how I want to run the household." Because I know what it takes to run a successful household. How many black men,
Oh, I
as a
like what
group,
check yourself said.
I'm gonna check your stuff. Say,
I'm going to show what check yourself said.
okay. Oh, he says they are forced to be providers. I'm not sure as they as women. And how can you expect her to submit when she is the breadwinner? She's tired. Okay, I didn't read your absolutely. It's true. Check yourself. Absolutely. Um, Charles Alexander also says, I'm going to get to everybody's comment as well. Charles says, I agree. I said the atonement respectfully of each other is needed, or else our black race will be in jeopardy. It's already in jeopardy because we can't even admit. any of this, right? And then Reb says, "Hello, Rebs, how are you? And thank you for shouting us out too as
Thanks,
well on
Rex.
Twitter. I appreciate that." She says, "Oh wow, 18%. This date is
Data is
sobering."
sobering.
Okay. Oh, data. I'm sorry. Data is sobering. Yes, absolutely. It is. So the numbers are not really
Yes.
lying. Also, Rep says too, in addition to that, she says, right,
Oh, right, T. Right,
T,
T. Fill in that dot, dot, dot. Yes.
that,
I'm perfectly fine.
where's the
If
dot?
if someone were to say, you know what? You don't have to worry about getting a degree because here are what your options look like. I'm for that. If that's what they choose to do, I'm fine with that. But 57% of the black women are finding that there is nothing in that blank, that they are graduating from high school, understanding what they just went through, seeing where the young men were there, or fathers or brothers or neighborhood or whatever is happening around their surroundings. And they are understanding that in order for them to make it in this society, this United States society, they have to be highly educated, high achievers, and striving towards financial security and independence on their own. If you want them to believe something different than that, show your work. Show black women that that isn't necessary for them to go out and be the full breadwinners, to take care of themselves completely, because there's some prince apparently waiting to do that for you. If he know, because here's the thing, this is the game, this is the game, this is the game. Okay, this is the game is, if you want to make it in this country, you have to go to college to make it to many of the levels that are actually going to determine any kind of long generational wealth for yourself. Because let's just talk about what those brass tacks are. Okay. She doesn't have a degree. She's 20 years old. How does she insure herself? She doesn't have a degree. She's 20 years old. She might be fit, but where does she live? While she's waiting for you to fill in her dot, dot, dot for why she doesn't need to have a degree in order to thrive and function. She's 20 years old. And according to that model, how does she get medical treatment? She breaks her leg. She's jogging, staying fit. She breaks her leg. Who takes care of that? Okay, we'll go deeper. What is she putting in her retirement savings at 20 if she doesn't have a degree? She isn't working. She's waiting on her prince to come and find her. I just want to play the model out because that ideology about what black women ought to be doing, what isn't happening is they're not doing what you're saying because you're offering something else. And because I haven't seen what else is being offered. I had to tell someone recently. They said to me, "How come I told them that we are not friends and we will never be friends?" And I did not want to mince words, not one bit. And I asked them, "Are you offering friendship?" And they clearly stated that they were not offering friendship. So for me to tell them, "No, we are not friends because you have not offered friendship." I knew you hadn't offered friendship. You just had never heard it be named. And so what we're saying is that's great. You want a certain kind of woman? Absolutely. It's being discerning, it's having preference, it's giving a taste. That's great. What are you offering? Because if I'm 20, if I'm 30, if I'm 40, and you don't want me to be these things that you think don't make me a match, then how do I take care of myself while I wait for my prince to arrive? What do I do at 25? I never went to college because I'm waiting on my prince to arrive. So I'm going to do a few of the comments before I go off on too much of a tangent. All right.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. So I
um,
see, let's see. Da, 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 da.
also,
Someone says, some want to be taken care of, no teamwork. Okay, that's fair. Check yourself. That's fair. Check yourself. So I want to get back to this then. Teamwork. What does that look like to a woman who is not married to you? Because if the issue is not in will we date, because I think there are plenty of women who will date, what teamwork would you get in our dating stage? What teamwork do I owe you in our dating stage? What investment does our teamwork provide for our unit to look better in a year or 2 years? Because I don't know any investment that anyone makes without a contract.
That's true. Because, well, that kind of also brings to the thing is marriage a business, right? Because we talked about this as well, where we
Well, I
treat
say the business.
marriage.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just
No, go
okay.
ahead.
So
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't want to go too
I'm sorry.
far, but a lot of women, I'm speaking for women in particular, we look at marriage as not a business. And I think that's kind of our downfall. That's almost like a negative for us, in my opinion. So again, but again, she's saying that too with the black man in particular. If the average black man makes 48 to 50,000 a year, the average at a 12, 13%, black women are going to college to get higher education because it was told to us that if you get a degree. So I came from a different mindset. I'm just going to say this. I thought maybe I was so naive, and I agree with this. I understood that the system was using me. I understood that the system was easier for me to get hired, easier for me to get that education, easier for me to get those grants and stuff. I can take that education, meet a mate, we apply that and we work together and build on that. But
Hmm.
that was not reciprocated. And I made that very clear in a lot of my relationships because I said, hey,
Hmm.
look, I can I have this leverage. Let's leverage what I have. Let's leverage what you have and let's make it work. But a lot of men were not capable or secure, confident, all above, some a little bit, to even be able to understand that notion because now we have black men calling themselves red pill, blue manosphere pill, going their own way, passport bros. That's something I want. There's something it's called passport bros, honey. Forget you, black chicks. We're
That's
gonna go
insane.
overseas and we're gonna get some poor non-black chicks. Forget the poor black chicks because we already know how you roll, right? Okay, so it's like it's to the point where it's very. You want to continue with some more of the video?
So I just want to go back to something that you even mentioned. That someone in the chat did put in, we would like to see that this is a teamwork effort, right? And in terms of the teamwork, and thank you, Reps. Thank you to the beautiful one. Thank you to Charles. Let's see who else is in here. Check yourself, Reps. Okay, all right. We're still looking pretty good here. So thank you all for watching. And please make sure you subscribe before you go and definitely share it. I would love to be able to have one of you guys come on one time for as a co-host as well to get your perspective. And we may do that before the end of the night. So keep the comments coming. If somebody really piques my interest, I'll bring you on the show. What I wanted to say was, as we talked about what that teamwork looks like, and even if a woman does have that mindset, let's say you spend your time, you become highly educated, you take the time to actually become someone's partner, you're doing all of your work and you're showing your work. That does not mean that at the end of that, the person that wants teamwork is going to offer what we're talking about, not the dating, but what teamwork looks like is a commitment to the responsibility and the accountability of a relationship in a contractual way, which is the only thing that the United States recognizes. Any type of commitment that you want the United States to recognize, whether it be financial, property, policy, there is a couple of things that have to happen, and that is it's sealed on paper. It's sealed on paper. It's sealed on paper so both parties know exactly what they are getting into. And those are some of the questions that I don't think that we ask each other or even discuss when we're talking about a relationship. So I was going to ask a few questions. Go ahead and show another portion of the video. Oh, he says he said sorry. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm going to show a couple things. I never, Rep said, I have never thought of what does teamwork look like while dating. Now I got to think about that one. Fair enough. Absolutely. Thank you, Reps. I'm going to pull up Check Yourself. Check Yourself says, sorry, I was referring to some of the new age men. Oh, okay. Reps, I'd be interested. How old are we
Me too.
in the chat? How old
I
are
was
we
going to
in the
say
chat?
that. I was going to also ask too, is new age equivalent to modern women? Because that's also a term that's been thrown around in the manosphere, red pill sector. Modern woman slash, then you have the traditional woman. So I'm interested if they can let us know exactly what does a new age man, what age group is that, or what does that look like? Because it's all new terminology for me.
Okay.
35 and divorce. Okay, okay, Reps, 35 and divorce. Wow, you're very young, Reps. Girl, listen, we theory. We also go very in depth into a different separate, like a pivot area where we do talk about Black women in particular who want to become more feminine, who want to be in a position where we can elevate our men and still um, do the things that we love, be who we naturally are. Because we're such diverse women. And that's the thing. I think they put us in this box where we, like, I remember
And
my
there's
mom
so
saying
much to
all of that.
offer.
Like, we're not just this little box here. We are
And to
everything.
me,
We're the mothers
um,
and fathers. So
absolutely.
we're
And
going
a
to
man
represent
that
all
can
of
see
that.
that. A man that can see a woman or a woman that can see a man, we are supposed to be kind of sizing them up, saying, what can I add to what they're already doing? What can I add to how can I complement what he is already doing? He should be saying, look,
That's
what
what
can
I
I do to
thought.
complement that? I don't
I
know
was
where we
wrong.
got the idea that there has to be or. I have a really good friend here in Novi who uses the both and this is not an or situation. This can be a both and. And
Two things can
so,
be right and wrong at the same time. So let's figure. Like, is that? So I also want to say
well,
with
no, both and means I can be a highly educated woman and be a asset and beneficial as your
yes,
wife.
I'm with you. That's what I
I
thought.
can be
Absolutely.
both.
Yeah, you
I can be a
can.
teammate. So those are the types of things that I just want to read the beautiful one. Thank you so much. Other races stay together longer is because of their view of marriage is a good teammate. I can mutually work well with this person and have confidence where we commit to building a life together. So, just to be clear, the beautiful one, what you would be offering if I were to ask you, what does it look like for a woman to see your commitment, your accountability and responsibility to a marriage in your pre marriage behavior? What does that look like? So I
Can you
love your
repeat that?
statement.
Can you
What
repeat that
does
question?
what does your commitment to the accountability, responsibility of a marriage look like in your pre marriage behavior? So, are you a person that talks about what kind of marriage you want? Are you, and that's male or female, are you the kind of person who shows tangibly what a marriage would look like for you? Are you building financially, economically, protection wise, insurance, investments, so that anyone that would see your pre marriage behavior would understand that this is the way you would behave in a marriage?
So can you give me an example of that? Because if I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, because it's Friday night, right? So
Oh, yeah. So we're doing a lot
brain
of heavy
is a
thinking.
little,
Okay.
my brain is a little over there.
Okay,
So
let's just talk with let's just do
if you
verbalizing,
don't
okay?
mind, if you could just break it
For
down
for
for me.
men for men and women in the chat, and thank you all for commenting. I'm gonna try to get to some of your comments. If you want to post some of their comments while I'm speaking, that'd be great. But let's say, what does your verbiage look like around marriage? So you're 25, you're 30, 35, 40, and you are a person who wants to get married, meaning getting married understands that you are ready for the commitment of the responsibility and accountability to a partner. That's what being prepared for marriage is, that you are prepared to make that accountable commitment. And what I'm saying is, what does your verbiage look like? How do you talk about marriage prior to getting married?
Okay. So can I? I'm glad you brought this up. First of all, I want to say thank you for even talking about this because this is very important, right? For real. So I've been thinking, I've been telling you this, right? So I've been thinking like this. I was afraid to bring up marriage. I was afraid to bring up how I truly felt in the relationship. It's not the person, the other, it's not the man's fault. Like, this is all solely, I realized what some of the things that I had problems with. Is that what you're kind of talking about? Like, so we're not having this, like, this real adult conversation about what do you expect from me? This is what I look like. Because you actually will be thinking about, like, what you want this to look like. Is that something that am I on the right
That
path here?
that's some of it. The other part of it is, for example, yes, I would be saying to someone, you know what? So one of the things I would tell people is something like, I when someone would ask you to spend the night, let's say they go, hey, it's been a really great date tonight. I'm really enjoying spending time with you. I'd love to spend more time with you. Can we spend the night together? A woman's response should be, oh, wow, I'm so glad you asked that. Let me let you know that I can't wait to spend the night with my husband. My husband and I will spend nights watching movies together. We'll spend nights, cuddled up and sitting by the fire, having a beautiful glass of wine. Wine. That's what I'll be doing with my husband. So I'm so glad that you asked.
I love that response because my mom, well, we'll talk that later. Women are always so okay. We in the manosphere, and the men are saying, it's like what she said here, Mahogany Pink. You want a wife, but you don't want a hoe. But you're approaching me as if I am a hoe. Somehow, some way, women, we allow that. I'm going with my 94, 95 era where you got the little Kim. Like, that's kind of where I grew up at, the Foxy Brown. Like, so you had to be more what's the word?
Promiscuous.
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 But the
Yes.
guys are saying that's not true. We really want like a church girl. But again, the evidence is still whatever you guys are saying, the evidence is not there because black men are least likely to marry. And there's various reasons why. But we're also getting pushback on black women who want to marry, who want you to step your game up. We want better. We want the nice kitchen. We want, the new stove and do all the little whatever that I love gadgets, right?
Domestication.
I love
Domesticated.
that, right? I'm a gardener. So we need to be able to have space and so when you talk to black men about this, is
Well,
to
that's why
me
I
you're
say I'm curious to have
I'm
the brothers say something in the chat about how do they hold each other accountable to this messaging about Black love? Are there other Black men who say, "Hey, man, you know what? What happened to getting a sister?" Like, I know I've been watching who you're dating. There are a lot of really great sisters, but what's kind of going on there? Why
you're
why
not
why haven't you been able to find a Black woman to kind of settle down with? Like, what's I just want to know the substance there, and maybe they have a reason, and I would love to hear their reasons. I just want to read Check Yourself real quick. Check Yourself is actually answering a question that you asked earlier to describe New Age. New Age can be 25 to 50, absolutely, because New Age is more of a mindset. The men are trying to capitalize and play the manipulation game with females. They are unaware that being alone is different from being lonely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that comment. I'm going to do the next one
so
real quick here. And Charles Alexander says a lot of brothers run away from the word commitment. Absolutely. Thank you.
so why buy the cow when the cow is free? Is that the
Why
saying?
buy the milk when the cow is free?
Black women, we're giving it up too easily.
And I
We
want to.
are accepting.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, you have
Oh
another
no.
comment?
Okay. Okay. No. No. Go ahead. Go ahead and read your comment.
Well, no, you can read it. I was going to just say my opinion. You can read the
Hmm.
comment. So I was going to say
This
that.
is. Uh,
Is there a delay? Is that
it's a
we
little
must
bit of
have a
a
delay.
delay. I
delay.
think it's a delay.
Okay. Struggle streaming. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, this is the beautiful one. First of all, the beautiful one, I love your name because I am a big, big Prince fan. and God rest his soul. And I thank you because your name reminds me of his song, The Beautiful Ones, which is an absolutely gorgeous song. But anyway, I love your song. So it says, your statement, we also cannot continue to blame fathers. We have to acknowledge that mothers coddle and spoil their sons, which does not help to mold good husbands. Absolutely, I would agree with that. I think all of us have experienced some version of an overly coddled man or even maybe an overly coddled woman. So I'll be fair because I've seen both, and neither are helpful to the brand. Neither
Absolutely.
are helpful to the brand.
And I know we always have to specify that we're not speaking like the all men or all women are bad. This is a
Of
two-way
course,
street.
please.
This
Yes.
is a no matter how we look at it, it's a two-way street. But all we're doing is we're trying, well, myself personally, I'm speaking for myself, or I said, is that I'm trying to figure out exactly where the rubber meets the road. Because if black men are saying, hey, I want to be married, I want to be providers, I want this, I want that, but where's the numbers? Right? So I don't even see the numbers. And the women too.
Nope. And I'm
I mean,
opening up the floodgates. I'm open. The floodgates are open. All those fine, sexy, hot, accomplished, well, emotionally and mentally stable, self assured, self aware. I invite you. The floodgates are open. Please come on in. Women who are mentally and physically and emotionally strong and fit, who are highly educated and highly achieving. The floodgates are open. I hope y'all run all to the middle and run into each other. But I can tell you that's not happening right now. That's not happening. And I don't think it is a we can't find each other problem. I don't think we know what we're looking for in that search. Because if all of this is in and around our heads about what it is and we don't really understand, marriage is a contract. And so I say the phrase, you mentioned it earlier, it is the business of marriage more so than I would even say marriage is a business. It is the business of marriage and the way in which it exists. I didn't decide that marriage was a business. The United States did. I didn't decide that. The United States decided that marriage had certain protections that as a non-married person you do not have. So while I know a lot of people say that women are transactional or women are just focusing on the transaction parts of marriage, no, women understand the United States has decided that marriage is that. Now,
mm,
do you get the other things as well? Can you find a marriage that has love and appreciation and all those other really great characteristics? I hope you find that too. But don't ever get it twisted. The United States only recognizes marriage and only recognizes it in the legal sense and as a contract, period. Whatever else juice you add on it, whatever little sprinkle, whatever little love that you add on to it is what you add to it. But it isn't a marriage that has all of the responsibility, accountability of the commitment that you have made in the legal sense until you sign that document. And what men are often saying is that they're prepared to do everything up to that point, including creating a life that you cannot protect because you are not married, a life that you cannot insure, a life that you cannot make certain medical decisions for because you're not considered the legal father. Why are we leaving our relationships and our human beings to chance? Go ahead.
I believe it's because we're not responsible. We think in a childlike behavior because we refuse to accept reality for real. Until some people accept reality when they say, "Oh my God, I almost lost this person," or, like we have to have these life changing, altering epiphanies to make commitment instead of planning commitment out. I plan commitment out. To make decisions based on a life decision because to me that's kind of drastic for me. I want to plan this stuff out so I'm mentally, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually prepared for everything that comes along with it. And I realized that I was meeting black men because I only date black men that was not there. here I am. And I want to say something that the beautiful one says. I'm assuming you are she, so please forgive me, the beautiful one. But you said the beautiful one said, I can admit I don't know what kind of man would compliment what, and then second part of it is what I want to live with for the rest of my life. This saddens me at 55. The beautiful one, I had to do a real deep I don't want to go too deep or off topic on this, but I had to do a deep dive on this because I've always been very clear on what I want. I've never, the same way that I was at 12, I am today. Like, there's no really, I was talking to my cousin yesterday. I was talking to Tia Marie about this, and he was talking about how I was like 11 or 12 years old. And we're having like this adult conversation. He's like, wait a second, hold on, you like 12. But I was so mentally there. But so I had to do some deep dives searching and kind of figure out my balance on that, the beautiful one. We all have our own individual road on that, but you can figure that out. I promise you. I promise you. If that's the least of your worries, you can make what you're saying and you can reverse everything you're saying. Trust me. And that's what me and Tia Marie, we also talk about that and we practice that and we help each other out because it's a communal thing. It's not a separate thing. But that's on a side note to the beautiful one. We also have Rep say preach because Tia, you was going off on that because that is true. Like what we need to be able to be in relationships and stuff. And if you want to read what Charles Alexander said, he said something
Let's
that.
see here. Let me go back. Okay, here we go. I got to go a little further down.
Oh yeah, go scroll
Um,
down. Thank you
Okay,
for
so
coming.
from Charles, thank you, Charles, for putting in the chat. Thank you to the beautiful one again. Every time I say that, I think about Prince. So thank you, and thank you to the reps, to reps.
I need my.
Social media influences is not helpful either. Back it up, drop it like it's hot. A good it blah, blah, is what you need, huh? But black people dance to it on TikTok. Okay, now Charles, I'm not gonna let you come for TikTok. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, you're right. Actually, our music and what our kids listen to and what we even listen to further. So, one of the things that I notice is, and I just want you guys to do this. Don't even take my word for it. Please do this tonight when you get off of this show. Go to the country music channel and listen to three songs. No, not closely. Just listen to three songs. Then I want you to go to the jazz channel, listen to three songs. I want you to go to the pop station and listen to three songs. And then I want you to go to the R&B station and listen to three songs. And I want you to note each time what it is they talk about, how they talk about, and who they talk about.
I like that.
What do they talk about?
What,
How do they talk about it?
how, and
And
who?
who?
What, how, who?
And
I
I
like
want you to
this. This
join me
is a
on
good.
my
It's
next
our
show.
homework assignment. It's our homework assignment. Wait,
So when I'm
radio
talking
station.
about these are radio, YouTube, however you get your music, whatever you do, particularly the radio station, because you have to think about it. All of the other stations that are streaming require probably an adult to pay for it. So you have to. I want you to hear what your kids are listening to and the general public. The things that you stream, you kind of tend to stream only what you like, or algorithms put up certain music that you like. So you may not hear the variety that you may be able to access on the radio. But I just want you to hear what the radio does because that's the general public on a regular basis. It's easily accessible. It's in everybody's household. And just listen to how those three stations. So when I ask you, how do you talk about marriage? A thing you say you want, be it male or be it female, if you are not married. And we'll talk about the folks that are married. But if you are not married, how do you talk about marriage? What do you listen to that feeds that marriage idea that you have? Who are you interacting with that feeds that ideal? And that will determine what your outcome will be.
Hmm. I want to read something that Check Yourself said. I'm gonna answer your question, Tia Marie, slightly. Black women don't know their value. Spend some time alone. Well, I'm a master at that. And learn who you are. I'm a master at that. Build your empire and enjoy life. The men will come. Just have a good screening filter. Now that's where I'm going downhill with that. That's where, I mean, everything you said before that, check yourself is, and because the good and the bad will come. I don't have filter. I don't know. I don't have filter. I know where I go wrong at. Check yourself also said too. I thought that was funny because I love that name, the beautiful one. Um, and then
That's probably
I think
somebody I know like personally, but I'm trying to
okay.
remember.
And I think they're responding to this, but they say black music of today is the only music that disrespect black women. Is sad. We're the only
Thank
group
you,
of people.
thank you for giving the homework answer early. Check yourself. You get an A. Ding 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 ding
A
ding.
plus plus. We need like some flowers and stuff. So I'll make sure we'll have some theatrics come
You're
next time.
absolutely right.
Yes,
It's the only kind of music that we tolerate where the degrading of who we are, where we come from, what kind of surroundings we have, what our background is, what our history is, where we're going, what we're about. It's the only music that you will hear self deprecation. And that was
Dr.
the point of listening to the other forms of music. You are not going to hear self deprecation on any of the other musics. They are not attacking themselves. They're not attacking their community. They're not attacking their women, particularly not attacking their women. And I wanted people to note that on the pop stations, they may be talking about having sex, but who are they talking about? They don't tell you white women. They don't call their white women names to tell you that they want to have sex with them.
is okay.
And
So
again,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
ask
want to
you
be
a
the,
question.
I'm not trying to be judgy Judy. What I'm saying is ask these questions. Ask the same questions I ask every day. I'm not judging. I just want you to ask the questions and then sit with the answers. Sit with the answers. Sit with the answers of what do you see around you. When you go to work, are there floods of black men professing how much they love their wives? So now I'm going to talk about the black men who are married, and I'm going to talk about the black women who are married. Are you sharing what your marriage is and the joys of your marriage with non-married people, or do you complain about your marriage? Again, I'm just asking questions. I don't know that what your answer will be to these questions as you hear them. But when you speak about marriage to your children, when you speak about marriage to other couples, when you talk about your marriage, one of my favorite things that not only does my dad do, but one of my cousins does is that when he's talking about his wife, he names her, or he'll say, I've talked to the wife about this first. We would love to come, but I talked to my wife about that first. And what it does is he reminds the people in the space that I don't make decisions without my wife. This is a joint venture. When you're talking to me, I represent her. I hear some women go, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to talk to my husband and we're going to come up and we're going to plan our vacation." I hear women say, "Oh, my husband and I talked about." Are you sharing that experience so those who are not married will understand what the verbiage looks like? Are you willing to put your marriage, which should be glorifying the world and the people around you and glorifying that your union? Are you sharing that with people around you? What is your verbiage? What does your body language look like when you are in and around your partner, your spouse, your significant other? What does your body language look like?
Can I say something? I
Go
have two
right
things to
ahead.
say, and then you
Go
got
right
this.
ahead.
After this, first of all, you got this. Rebs, I'm gonna say something that what she said. Reb said,
Oh, can you
um,
post it?
yes, Reb said that right, always centering positive marriage. Reb, as before, right before you posted this, as Tia Marie was thinking this, when I was working at the real estate office, and it was the white lady, she was married. They had like a family-owned carpet business, like the simple things that we need to be. We'll come back to that. I'm not. And so it was Trump election. This is when Trump was being elected, and she made a comment, and she was telling her girls to go vote to remind them to go vote on that day. And somehow we got into this conversation, and she said, "Oh, well, my husband told me to vote for Trump, so I'm going to go vote for Trump." Like she didn't even care. She didn't even probably know what Trump was about. Didn't care. Didn't even.
On
My
code.
husband
On one
said,
accord.
"Go vote for Trump." She has three beautiful daughters. Y'all go vote for Trump too. But the men set the precedent because the man is the one who picked marriage, right? So now am I, so I was the one that was setting the precedent for marriage. Like I could be a wife, but how can I be a wife to a man who don't even know how to be a husband to that particular wife? Y'all dog him out. I know men right now that are dedicated to some hoes.
Dedicated, really? Are they
Want me to give
dedicated to him?
yes. How much
Wow.
what are men most dedicated for protection and providing for? She's a hoe, a certified one. A bunch but let the good girl that don't know much, she you know what I'm saying? All y'all don't want those. Yeah, okay. But so I don't know, we should watch the movie. We got the chat that's blowing up right now because listen,
Yes,
y'all,
thank you all. Thank you. All right, let
reps
me
on
see if
we
I can show
okay.
another one.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me go back. I was getting ready to read. This is the beautiful one. Black music has become a mental weapon for our people. It continues to keep us down as a people. Irresponsible sex, overspending, keeping us from committing to secure families and unstable homes. Thank you. Can we say it one more time for the
One
people in
more
the back?
again for the I got sound effects. Let me get my sound effects up. Let me hold down. Hold down. Beautiful one.
Thank you, beautiful one. All right, Charles says yes, marriage should be a trusted, committed, and loving union between significant partners. You grow and rise together. Thank you very much. Yes.
I do have a side story to that, but that will be on the Patreon.
Hmm.
But my
Oh yeah, I'm
point
not
still
gonna
is
give it all to you. So I'm
my
gonna can I
point
go
still
through
is
a couple of my
valid.
I'm gonna read off a couple of my questions. Let me see if you guys can
Yes, so read off your
still
questions.
hear
I'm
me.
gonna see if I can get some sound effects going on because I got some ideas, y'all. I'm creative. I'm like the beautiful one. I love that. I love that name. So
Let's see. I'm gonna pull up if I can find it. Here we go. So I'm gonna ask you guys a series of questions. Just kind of work with me. Okay. Maybe I can put this in the chat as well. Question number one. Do you understand the laws in place for marriage in the United States? Question number two. Do you know the laws around being a non married couple in the United States? Do you know the laws around parenting? Do you know the religious principles around marriage? Do you know the protections that are provided in a legal marriage? Do you know the protections that are allowed legally in a non married couple? Do you know the legal verbiage in the contract of marriage? Because there is an entire contract. Most couples see it on the day that they actually have a religious ceremony to get married. And before the person that presides over your marriage ceremony, at the end of it, they have you sign your marriage licenses. Those licenses come with a contract. So that's what I'm talking about. And do you know the legal verbiage in the contract of an unmarried couple? Do you know how to legally end a marriage? Excuse me. Do you know how to legally end as a non married couple? And that's just part one, y'all. I just want to let some of that sit with you. If you want me to read anything, again, I'm happy to reread, but I just want you all to listen to some of the things that I ask and tell me if you can tell the difference between some of the different questions that I ask. All right, so check yourself. I have a friend that's being divorced from a lovely lady. She was being a great wife and he was in a swingers group. Explain this madness to me. I don't know that I can explain it because I have not experienced what they have experienced. But I would say what it sounds like again is the marital contract. Someone in the marital contract changed the contract without the other person knowing. So that is no longer a marital contract. They have broken and breached the contract. The only way that one can be in a swinger and not the other is if that was agreed upon, and it sounds like it wasn't. So that's all I can add to that. Go ahead, Rise.
The swinger lifestyle apparently is more than we know.
Oh, I'm sure it's more than we know, but it just has to be agreed upon
I agree, but
because
maybe she
that's what a
wasn't at
contract
first.
is.
So the dedicated to the whole situation,
Hmm.
they he was cool with the whole lifestyle. He was cool with it, the swinger thing, the vibe. But once they start having children, he wanted to kind of. Actually, I'm gonna try to get somebody on to talk about this. Is a true story. He wanted to settle down. She didn't.
But then that's what I'm saying. Then you don't have. So, but is this the marriage or is this the dating before the marriage?
Oh, they're in the marriage now. I mean, they're knee deep in this marriage at this point. They
Yeah.
like
So
8 years
that would
in
be
deep. This,
if
but
the
he wanted to
marital
change
contract.
now. At the
Okay, then
time, he
what you
didn't
get
want
to
to change
do.
it.
No, what they get to do then is that is a breach of contract, and they get to be divorced.
So guess what happened? Well, all of that took place. All of that, and then more, so much more, y'all. Oh, this will be a good. So she still continued to be a hoe outside of that. They divorced now. I think I don't know. They're divorced now, but guess
Don't.
what? He still come to find out. Just found out 2 weeks ago they back together. And when I tell you,
I mean, again, those parts of whatever the contract, but I can
he's
tell
a
you
provider. He's a high
The
value man.
United
How about
States
that?
only, the
He's a high
United
value
States
man.
only, yes, the United States only recognizes one form of legal marriage, period.
Well, I'm just saying as far as commitment, because you could be married and they're not committed to you. Because I've seen
Well,
marriages that
that's why I'm being extremely clear. You signed a contract. When you are no longer committed to the contract, you get a divorce because the other whatever party feels like you're not holding up your part of the commitment
yes,
gets to
boom.
file a breach of contract.
Okay. Okay, so let me bring this in. If anybody understand where
Mhm.
I'm coming from, now this is just not me personally. If anybody know who Professor Griff is, he was in the group Public Enemy. He used to have a show back in the day on Blog Talk or something, and they had brought on these young ladies talking about kind of similar what we are talking about, and the grandmother and grandfather had an agreement. Her grandmother and grandfather have an agreement, and she can only weigh 100. She can get no more over 125 pounds. Like that was their agreement. So if he say this is my agreement, you can't like right now. Well, so my bikini weight, so it's say 130, 135, right? That's my agreement with him. And then his agreement with me is I'm always making sure I'm taken care of, like all of the things that women need. Is that what you're talking about in terms of this contract? If I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
No, because the state in which the contract of your marriage or the business of marriage is the legally binding part of it. The legally binding does not deal with preferences.
No, I'm more speaking. So
Those
okay,
are
maybe I missed
preferences
some
in the
things. I
marriage.
missed some things of
Those
it.
those are preferences in the marriage, which I would imagine will change as taste and age and likability and all that changes. What I'm saying is when I'm talking about the commitment
What
to
was
the
the question?
responsibility and the commitment to the responsibility and accountability of a marriage.
What was the
Now,
question
what
again? I'm sorry.
from the legal standpoint, now, the other parts of the marriage, because I got to start there because there's this notion when because what she mentioned in the video was men will date us, they will sleep with us, they will have children with us, but they will not commit to us.
Bam.
That's
I'm
what's on the
confused.
table. And the commitment that she's talking about is not, do you believe the same things I believe? The commitment that she's talking about is marriage, the contract of marriage, because we have a
Which
lot of coupledoms. We got a lot of people who live together who choose to do things the way they choose to do them.
I sound like a
but
cuckold.
we don't have a lot of marriages, is her point.
Right. We black
And the
marriages.
reason why is that black people understand when you simply say marriage, when they go, "Oh, no, not for me." You know what they're saying? I don't want that commitment, accountability and responsibility. Or black people or who say, "Oh, marriage, yes, I'm down with that. I want that." They understand that it comes with accountability, responsibility, and commitment. Now, what you do in the marriage is all of those ebbs and flows. Do you like to have breakfast? Are you an early riser, late riser?
Okay.
That's the making of your marriage. That's what your marriage might look like, and that is up to you. But the state that commitment that fail stop that she talked about in the video is you will. Let's see. Sorry guys.
That's
Was
okay.
that my
I
connection?
see. I think so.
Okay.
Or well, do you see me?
Yes.
Okay. So if you guys can see us, you can just put a thumbs up somewhere. I do see you. I see
Okay.
you. You see me.
Okay.
Prime
What
time.
I
So
was saying was I'm just getting us to the point where we understand that spot where she said the commitment. Because I'm not committing to you. Like, there's no such thing. That's why I asked the question. What do you think a commitment is if we're not legally bound to uphold that commitment? We don't have a commitment. The state doesn't recognize our coupledom. They don't recognize that we happen to be booed up. The state doesn't recognize that there's no accountability and responsibility as a girlfriend. So if I'm your girlfriend ahead of time, and what she's talking about is in that space, I don't get commitment from you because you're not ready for commitment. You don't know what commitment is. You don't want to give that to me. Whatever your issues are, she's saying that all of these really great, wonderful women don't get the commitment.
can I say one thing? You got some janky internet.
I'm very sorry.
And that really kind of leads me to, if you guys want to help support Tia Marie and this janky, listen, guys, listen. You guys don't understand the pain that I go through. I love you, but I don't love your
The
internet.
struggle
Okay,
stream.
it's the area because that area I think it just has like dead zones. So
There
you
are
need like
dead zones. So yeah,
you
this is a
need
great middle lane.
you
And I
need
think
like
we
a
lost some
router and some
viewers.
other stuff because it's some weird technology is beautiful, but you also have to master it. So you do need some extra points to kind
Yes.
of help with the internet.
So
But I
let
just
me.
want to thank
So let me.
everybody.
I'll do a thank you for the commercial. There is a link for the Cash App. It's really simple. It's $ TM Sanders 48375. Please, if you are able to, even $5 is helpful. This is all building so that we can continue to provide content. Anyone who knows me in the area that I live in, they know how fiscally responsible I am and what I turn their dollars into to show up tangibly in the community and how much I advocate for those in our community. So the more that you're able to help, the more I'm able to do, and hopefully come back to you with what those results look like, not just for our children, but for our couples, for what our future looks like. So please, if you have an opportunity to share in the Cash App, please do. There's no amount too small, and there's no amount too big. I do want to say, just for a quick commercial, thank you to those who have been posting in the chat. You have been wonderful, and so respectful, and just really cherishing the space. I haven't had to police anybody, so I really thank you all for that. I don't want to play police with anybody, so I do appreciate that everybody is, being really nice in the chat and sharing their hearts and their minds and their thoughts. That means a lot to me. And again, I'm not here to judge because I don't live your life. I don't walk in your shoes, but I know I spend a lot of time in my day considering a lot of these same questions, right? And when you ask questions, you find answers. That's why I want you all to ask more questions.
Tia Marie, I do want to say that I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me? Because you have frozen on my end. You
Oh
can see me.
no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play a quick commercial. If you just want to do a quick refresher.
Reset. Okay.
Yeah, so just give me like 2 seconds and I'm just gonna say go. I'm just gonna do a real quick commercial, everybody, because Tia Marie, she has technical. We're going to play a quick commercial and we'll be right back. Thank you for joining Kindred Soul with Tia Marie, and this is Soulful Friday. So,
Hello, welcome back.
hello. Yay! Are we back? We back,
I
y'all.
had to
Thank you.
improve it.
Thank
I'm so sorry, guys.
you.
So, if there has never been a more valid reason to Cash App, hopefully that showed you that it's necessary.
Listen, right. Because um, apparently, technology is moving very fast, and a lot of areas are not catching up as quick as others. So that I have learned as well. So the further
Uh,
boonies you are,
so we got a
the more
question in the chat. We got two questions in the chat.
okay,
So
okay.
we have, first of all, Charles, I want to acknowledge that. Oh, so first of all, uh, Rep said yes to the beautiful one is spitting facts tonight. So thank you. Yes. Charles said yes to all 1 through 10 of my questions. So okay, we'll see what he says. Um, and then Charles talks about open marriage. We have complicated. He says that scenario that you shared was complicated and messy. We have Reps who gives a thumbs up. I think that was just that we could be heard in the chat. And then the beautiful one said, "Can you speak on loyalty versus commitment in the marriage? This is where my relationships ended. I learned that although I am loyal, I don't have to be committed." Oh, I'm curious, the beautiful one, if you would elaborate on that a little bit more,
Maybe the
if
beautiful
you
one
feel
should come
comfortable.
up. I need some elaboration as well too, because I would equate loyalty and commitment in the same. So I'm still learning, that. So I don't know. I thought loyalty and commitment was the same because I'm committing to this union, so I'm loyal to the union. But I would love to hear more. What do you think, Tia Marie? This is interesting.
I'm not sure. So I cannot see the chat. Let me just make
Oh,
sure
you
I've
can't.
got
Well,
the chat
she
up
hasn't
here.
responded back just yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I'm
Yeah, I
very
would be
interested.
curious to know about that. Can you speak on loyalty and commitment in a marriage? This is where my relationship ended. I learned that although I am loyal, I don't have to be committed. Very interesting.
I'm gonna put this back up again just for a second. Check yourself. Don't be laughing. I see you over there with that smiley face. Okay, so can you speak on loyalty versus commitment? Wow, I need to go back on this because I honestly was in my mind thinking that commitment and loyalty was the same. This is where my relationship ended. I learned that although I am loyal, I don't have to be committed. So maybe okay, so if I'm thinking like that, so okay, I'm loyal to the marriage, but I'm still cheating. I'm
Excuse
still
me.
not committed to making him breakfast every day or like certain things that he might like, certain every relationship is a little different. So kind of gotta
Yeah, that's a
um
hard one to speculate on. I'm not sure.
yeah.
I would
Reb
love to
said
know
yes,
more.
beautiful. I thought they were the same. Right, right. Okay. So I would love to know a little bit more. So I'm thinking, say if I'm loyal to say if I'm the marriage, I'm go here. If I'm loyal to the marriage, but I'm committed to um taking care of the kids without your authority. I'm committed to not thinking about. I want to know what is the
Yeah, I would
difference
be curious.
here.
I don't know if
Yeah,
they left, but I
if you
guess
don't
I'll
mind.
if they want to
Yeah, that
give
would be
more. Oh,
interesting.
okay.
I'm
I'm
very
sorry. Here it is.
okay.
So, let's see. Uh, check yourself retracted a message. So I'm not sure what they retracted. So Reb
I
says,
thought
yes,
you was going
beautiful.
there.
I thought they were the same. And then the beautiful one says, meaning I won't cheat or leave, but I will not plan a long-term life with this person. Mm.
The beautiful one. I had two things. I know I as I was thinking this in my mind, I was thinking about a particular person. This particular person will say they're married. They married 8 years and married. But she don't want to buy a house with this person because in the back of her mind, she's talking to me about it. Well, if we get divorced, I don't want to have to go through all of the legal stuff.
Mhm.
We're married, but I don't want to invest solely entirely like buying a house or whatever it is that they may do in that relationship. I'm not sure if that's what she's speaking about, but as she was saying that, that's what I was thinking about a person.
She says
So I
eventually
think
she will leave.
I'm gonna come back on that because I have if you want to answer that, Tia Marie, I'm gonna come back on that.
So let me just understand. I think what you're saying is that you're in a relationship, and I think she's saying that she does agree with you, but you're loyal, but you're maybe not receiving that back, um, and possibly planning to leave because you're not getting that back, if I understand correctly. Um, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Like having an escape plan. Well, one of my questions was, do you know what it will take to get out of the marriage? One of the things that I thought was
She
strange,
probably do
yeah.
because
Well,
she already in her back of her mind. I'm gonna come back. I'll just yep. I
yeah.
got this beautiful one.
Okay, so no trust, no marriage. Oh, yeah, that's true. Let's see. One How can one be loyal and not committed? Yeah. So I don't think you have what sounds like a healthy marriage that's working out for you. And what I would say is, first of all, you are deserving of a healthy marriage, and a partnership with someone who recognizes what your value is. Not that they know everything about you because you're still learning who you are and you're still figuring out what the next steps are, but they should be a partner that will give you the space to grow, be able to communicate with you what their feelings are, in your intimate spaces, and be able to tell you what those directions and that vision looks like for yourself as a couple. And can you reset that? I would say a marriage is worth the try to reset that. But if you've kind of run out of options and you're not getting cooperation for a reset, then you do have the option to divorce. I would always hope that that is a last case scenario and a worst case scenario, because I do find that some people stay in really unhealthy relationships and they don't know what it looks like to stay. And what I say is that the reason to stay is that you're getting cooperation for what change will look like for with you as a couple. And if you're not getting that kind of change, then it is time to go. I'm not sure if I still have you here, Raasa. Hopefully I do. All right, let me see what else we have in the chat. Or did my Wi-Fi just go nuts? Hold on, let's see. Um, let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right. Do I still have you guys here with me or did I lose everybody? Should I log out and come back in? I must have lost you guys. I'm gonna come out and come back in. How is that? Do I have you back? Let's see.
Oh, you
Okay.
had some technical difficulties?
Yes,
I,
I think so. I went out completely.
I had to step
I'm so sorry,
away.
guys.
No, that's okay. I stepped
Okay,
away for a
so
minute.
I'm gonna read. So, okay. The beautiful one says, as a black woman, we think we are all the same. Other races can be committed to a partnership, but are not loyal. For a black woman, we put loyalty first. Others put commitment to the partnership first. Okay. Yeah. I struggled with commitment and loyalty because to me, both are expressions of how love is supposed to be showing up. But as to your point, it is a failure often more so than it is a success. So I don't disagree with you. I don't have a better answer for you, unfortunately. I think that's something that we're all searching to try to find a way to answer. So thank you, the beautiful one, for that statement. Um, I would say I know from a biblical point of view, and I mean that's the one I grew up learning about. It talked about putting God first, your partner and your relationship second, your children last, and like your external family after your children. So I think that's a situation where is loyalty or partnership a priority. I don't think you can have one without the other. And I think what's missing in terms of which one you should have is have you assigned a priority to either that's for your relationship. Thank you
I
for
think
that
I missed
comment.
a few things. The beautiful one, as I stepped away from the platform for a minute, I was thinking my answer would probably be more suited privately. Um, but I know exactly where she's at. So I will say this: if you know what it means when I say get into the vortex, if you understand what I'm saying, you can put a thumbs up. If not, that's okay. But you're going to have to get into your internal self if you want
Mm,
happiness. Only if you want happiness. You can still have the marriage that you have right now and not leave and create everything that you ever wanted. But you have to want it. So I will say that openly in that way. I know exactly when she was talking. I was like, yeah, I know someone like that. And unfortunately, my person that I know, when I say these things, is not going to compute to her because there's something in her that I'm a. If I'm not sure if you catching on to who I'm talking about in particular, Tia Marie, but
not
this
yet.
particular person
I'm not sure yet.
always is married and constantly says, "Well, I don't want to do this because this in case we get divorced. I don't want to do that because we get divorced." Um, it's like they're living a alternative life. Come on now, catch there's only so many people we know together. I mean, I don't know how many people. You know, everybody I know personally.
I'm struggling. My memory please don't go by my memory. I told you I struggle with this COVID brain
Don't
of
you
mine.
know? I'll keep talking and you'll get it. So this particular
Okay.
person always has this alternative thought in the back of their mind, but I'm not equating the beautiful one to this person, but I understand the situation. So that's why I said if you really want to have that life that you want, the commitment and the loyalty, you can have it because they're compartmentalized the difference. Where in my mind it's the two, but they're separating it in terms of things that they're willing to do, things that they're willing to um give up or have like some kind of acquiesce to. Not married yet, but oh, well, definitely don't get married because it's going to be the same thing, and then you're really going to be tied down to it. So that's a good thing because you don't want to get married if you're already feeling like that. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. It's not going to actually go. I think it gets worse where it hinders you.
Yes.
It's like it's hindering your growth as a person. So you need whatever. Right now, I'm doing some baggage releasing. even things I don't even think that's a problem, I'm going to make sure that it's not a problem subconsciously because there's a problem somewhere.
Okay.
And so I think you have to release the Tia Marie, you know how we talk about certain people want to have control on certain things. Some people
Mm-hmm.
have a fear of going broke. Not because they want to be rich, but they may grew up in a poor situation where they didn't have no food to eat. They've been in a bad
Mm-hmm.
situation, so they have this phobia. Some people have a phobia of different things. So it's like a phobia, it's something that is preventing us to move forward in certain areas. And mine is totally trust
But who is it that you do not trust, yourself or your partner?
partner.
Okay. My guess is then there's a lot that you don't trust in yourself, including your ability to discern if this is a good partner for you or not.
I agree. As I said earlier when we were talking about the
So the
discernment,
trust,
somebody put in
so
earlier, the
so the
filtering
trust,
part, the filtering
yes,
out. Yeah, mm-mm.
yes,
That's where I would need help at. Like, cause I'm not perfect. So I'm not going to
no.
put, I'm not, so when you say that to me, some people might take it in a negative. It's like, yeah, that's where my negative is at. And that's where I'm going to require help in. Now, is there anybody that want to help me? I don't know. So far, no. But
Well,
hopefully
I
there will
don't
be
know.
people
I'm not sure
in
that there
my
aren't
life.
people that wouldn't help. I think there would be. You just have to
Well, I ain't
articulate
never
what you
been
believe you
married.
need help in, huh?
Hmm. Well, I had a whole topic on that. That's when my show went down.
You
I've
said
talked about
that
this. I
people
didn't
people
have,
don't want to help you
well,
when
I did
you
not
say
have
that you're.
elders. I didn't have elders to help guide me in that sector as a young person. That's what my whole
Oh
channel
yeah,
got taken down.
but if today, no, but if today you said I want, and that's why I say when you ask yourself questions,
I still don't know.
okay? So the questions are this: am I happy right now?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, explore that. If the answer is no, explore that too.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
I'm not saying you have to have the answers. I'm saying if you don't start by looking internally, as you mentioned earlier, because a lot of what should be happening for you externally will not happen until you do some of that internal work. And that is what we should hopefully be doing while between seasons, which
Whew.
to me, as the one relationship ends and
Saying it
another one
again.
begins, you're in between. Excuse me, you're in between seasons. And so the work that you do during that time, and for that time, we always tease and say you're off the market, right? And then when you're back on the market, you say, okay, I'm taking applications. So
But see, this time if I
uh,
take applications, I'm gonna need somebody to overlook those applications, not me. Kind of almost like a matchmaker, because when you talk about this too, like you can see things in me that I can't see in myself. Like we can help each
yes.
other dictate the positive routes in relationship, and that's a fact. And I think a lot of times we tend to think we got to do it all on our own, and that's not true at all. Like it
Hmm.
takes a community. Like when you get married, it's just not the person. You get married to the family. Same thing. Like you were saying earlier, when relationships, who do you
Yes.
talk to when if you're in a marriage? Are you just figuring out by yourself? No, you're gonna go all
Hmm.
wrong when you. That's why I say I
You
didn't
should
have
be
that
talking
help.
to you
Right.
should
And
be
that's what
talking
I'm
to
saying.
other
Yeah, nobody
couples
came to me. I'm thinking I gotta
who.
do it by myself. That's how I was raised. You
Mhm.
gotta do it by yourself. But actually, no, that's where you go wrong at. Like obviously, because people see counselors. So it's the same
Yes.
thing. Yes, that's all my point is saying that. So it takes each other to help each
Yes.
other into getting to where we want to get
And
at. You
that's
can't do
where
it by
I
yourself.
said the couples that are married have to spend some time talking about the ebbs and the flows of a marriage, sharing the how that marriage, what holds it together, what threatens the marriage. If other couples would talk about it, then couples that are not married will start to see that that's part of the conversation. Like they can start to ask questions, but we have to be willing to be transparent enough to share not just the highlights of the marriage, but also some of the challenges of the marriage as well.
Can
Let
you
me
hear
read a
me?
couple comments. Yeah, is it my Wi-Fi again?
It's just look a little foggy. I am backstage right now, but I did want to read something really
Okay.
quickly. If you just give me 1 second, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
Um, it was from, yes, check yourself. I believe the word commitment should not be used. So I would like to dive deeper in that. But you are present in the relationship, absolutely, but you are not loyal, or you will communicate this to your spouse. You need to move on. You deserve to be happy. Yes, and I agree with that. Well, I don't know about the commitment part, but that's either here nor there. I'm with you 100%. Um, Also, Charles Alexander says, no trust, no real love, no commitment, then no loyalty equals that's effed up. I know exactly where you're coming from, Charles, because I think, again, speaking for myself, I didn't know which road to go in. Like, it's like no road, no book for parenting. It's no book for parenting when you're talking to your kids about who to love and how to choose. But it really can be, but we just probably don't choose. I don't know, but I'm off to a tangent, but that's cool. I just want to read the comments. Also, Rep says, hey, Reps. So true. Self reflection is needed before I get back into. Rep, we got some tips for the dating game, honey. That will help you. That will gonna help you, sweet. Who's gonna help you? Okay. Check yourself says we need to be talking about having healthy relationships before entertaining marriages. 1000%. And relationships does not mean romantic. It means platonic, mother daughter, mother son, family, business, all the way around. Because it's if you do something one way, you do them all the way. So you can't just have a healthy relationship in business and then you messed up in marriage. That's
Well, that's why I said work that you do on your own
yes,
to restore all relationships. You can't have. That's why I said, what does your work look like before you even talk about the commitment of a marriage? What does your verbiage look like before you move into marriage? You have the person that you have to be before you go into a marriage. And if you aren't that person, can you articulate? I'm not there yet. Can you say I'm not that person? I want to be that person, but I'm not that person yet. That's okay. What I don't like to see, and this is where I have a personal preference, is when I see couples that live together hoping that that's all going to formulate while you're just living together. If you're not having kind of conversations that we're talking about. What I am concerned about is that we don't even broach the subject to talk about what it looks like for us to move into those chapters. And so what she was talking about in that earlier video, and I know we're going to show some more of it, but that's what's under threat right now. That there's this cycle that goes around and around that we never talk about. And in the never talking, that women, particularly Black women, end up in these coupledoms that end up nowhere. They go nowhere. They have no promise, have no protection, have no prospect for what it looks like to be in a healthy, secure relationship. And I would love for us to recognize that earlier rather than later.
I agree. Absolutely. I think
Mhm.
we've waited too long. So I can show a few clips because we are an hour and
Go ahead and
42
show.
minutes here.
Oh yeah, go ahead and show a clip. We're going to try to end at 2 o'clock. I mean at 2 hours. I am going to try to reset again because I am noticing some lag.
A little lag.
Go ahead and show the video. I'll come back.
Okay, I will do that. So we kind of ended up a little bit where she asked the question. Pink Mahogany is her name, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. Pink Mahogany is the creator of this particular show here, and she talks about Black love is a myth. The false promise of Black love is a myth. So this is kind of where we stopped off at here. Um, and we're gonna go start from where we stopped off at.
Need to alter their behavior. Well, because admission of failure on their part would be giving you permission to leave them. And a society, however dysfunctional, can survive with very few men, but a society without enough women will crumble. So, as a community, we decided that come hell or high water, we are going to keep these Black women on the hook, waiting and praying and competing for that good Black man who will come into their lives and build a family, despite all evidence that this will happen for very few of you. Don't get me wrong, there are some very good Black men out there. Hell, there are some even great men out there who are Black, and there are some dusty black women, but numbers don't lie. Here's the math. You all outnumber black men, and for a bunch of reasons, more than half of them will never marry anyone. Of those that remain, almost a quarter of them will marry women who are not black. Of the men left, 73% cannot financially support a household alone, and you will have to work. And due to the high rates of infidelity, domestic violence, and financial instability, 42% of these marriages will ultimately fail. Less than a quarter of you who get married will be in marriages where your husband earns more money than you. Less than 8% of those of you who get married to black men will have the luxury of not having to work at all. In fact, most high-earning black men remain bachelors or marry out of their race. So for all of you ladies with hypergamous, rich black girl fantasies, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not likely going to happen, particularly for the more richly melanated sisters and the sisters with the West African body types and the sisters with previous children. Your odds are much worse. But hey, if you believe that you're going to be in that small minority, the 13% of black women overall who are in hypergamous black marriages, and the even smaller percent who have the luxury of being able to stay at home and raise their children, and you want to bet your future on that belief, go right ahead. I can't stop you, but understand that you are the one that's taking on all the risk, because if you choose wrong and it doesn't work out and you're left with a couple of kids on your arm, you will be the ire of the community, the single mom, aka the woman who didn't choose better, aka the poster girl for everything that's wrong with the black community, and you would have decreased your chances of finding another suitable life partner by half. Ask yourself, why would you make an important life decision knowing that the odds are stacked so tall against you? Well, this pipe dream has been pushed on you since birth. Black love is almost exclusively sold to black women. Not only is
Tia
Hello.
Marie, I don't know if you can hear me, but I wanted to stop
Yeah.
right there just for 1 second. And she talked about being a black single mother and how being in love and things like that is pushed on us. This to let you know your video went out. I don't know if you know. And that the black love has the image of love has been pushed on us.
Mhm.
Therefore, we have created single motherhoodom because we are in this fairy tale. And I want black women, if you have been in this situation where you just been with a man and you wanted to marry him, but he just never wanted to marry you for whatever reason. So I just wanted to kind of stop there, and I'm gonna finish up there because I think that's really important to kind of because the manosphere and red pill black man community say if you're a single mother, you're for the streets. Like it's a
Mhm.
wrap for you. Just go ahead and just die. And oh no, they say die alone and winter is coming. So okay.
it the thing that you're supposed to want more than anything else in the world, it's your duty to pursue it. A black woman who marries outside of her race is a bedwench, and the hostility towards her comes from both black men and other black women. Why from black men? Well, frankly, they don't like the sexual competition, and they never thought you could go anywhere else. Part of black men's power in this relationship dynamic is the belief that there's nowhere else for you to go, and for all of that talk about how you're going to start dating other men, your feet haven't moved an inch, so they've been calling your bluff. But when they see you, the educated, middle and upper class black women, their only real hope to restore this community, when they see you considering going elsewhere, that's when their feathers get a little ruffled. And other black women don't want to hear that you're looking at other races of men either, even though it's less marital competition for them, because misery loves company. Who's going to be there to share in the collective trauma bonding on the topic of unfaithful men, down low dusties, abusers, and hypergamous dudes who believe that they're the prize? They don't want to be alone caping for a lost cause, and if they're going to throw their legacy and their future away for a fantasy, they need to know that other women are doing the same, otherwise the sacrifice will not have been worth it. It's funny though, black men don't seem to have this visceral reaction to the idea of other black men in interracial relationships. Their socialization is much different from yours. Don't get it twisted, it's a hustle. Getting you to believe in black love ensures their survival while they can go out and be with whomever they want to be with. In fact, most of the time, they seem to believe that they don't need you to create black children. Their seed is so strong that they can make a black family all by themselves. Now, if this is a black child, then two can play that game. Now, let me be clear. Only a black woman can create this, and this, and this. But if black men are determined to eugenicize...
Tia Marie, can you hear me?
I can.
So listen, I wanted to stop right there for 1 second. I'm gonna say this. I was talking to a lovely cousin of mine, a female cousin,
Mm.
and she was like, "Well, I just don't understand. Why we everything got to be all black? Why everything got to be, about black?" And I said, "It doesn't. Let's look at this."
Amen.
Oh, I hear background on your end. Okay, I said it doesn't. But however, all the other races are practicing their race. They're making sure that their race is white, is Mexican, is Asian, is Indian. We're the only group of people who refuse and are ashamed of being pro black. And as she says, that you have black men who think that they can date outside their race and still create black children. And that is false. And I just wanted to stop there. I don't know if you want to say anything, but I'll keep going. I don't know if you want to say anything. If not, because you're on mute, just to let you know that. So I can't hear you if you are talking. So I'll just keep going.
Themselves via colorism and externalized self-hatred, there is no reason for you to put your legacy on the line trying to stop them. They've already biracial black women as your suitable replacement, and you're not going to be able to stop the incoming buffer race of mixed children that black men are currently creating from enjoying light-skinned privilege that unambiguously black children will not take part in. So why try? For those of you who want to have children of your own, your first priority needs to be to give them a father who can protect them and provide for them. And so many black women ignore this basic requirement. So many black women watch their children walk to school in unsafe neighborhoods and go to underserved public schools and spend their young adulthood running.
I know
Go
I
ahead.
keep
Can you go back and I want you to play that part?
okay, which part? Because I'm breaking in for a reason. You want me to just wind back a little
Oh, go
bit? Let
ahead.
me
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead
I'm
for your
going.
break.
No, we probably in the same. I'm go back. I don't know how far you want me to go back. I'm just gonna go back to where I was
And
at.
externalized self-hatred, there is no reason for you to put your legacy on the line trying to stop them. They've already dubbed biracial black women as your suitable replacement, and you're not going to be able to stop the incoming buffer race of mixed children that black men are currently creating from enjoying light-skinned privilege that unambiguously black children will not take part in. So why try? For those of you who want to have children of your own, your first priority needs to be to give them a father who can protect them and provide for them. And so many black women ignore this basic requirement. So many black women.
Did you want to stop right there?
That was more in the protection part.
Yeah,
But
no.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and put. Yeah.
I wanted to stop right there too because that is important. What does that look like to the black man? What efforts have he put in to contribute to even counteract the Cynthia G's? You sent me a Instagram of that chick last night, and I told you what was her handle. She's a black woman. I got some stuff on her. I said this was like last year. I had went into this rabbit hole because I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. They at the point where they don't even want to reproduce black men anymore. They're saying abort black male fetus, which is, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, this is, we can go all onto that. But the point is, you actually have this rhetoric out here now speaking about how black men, not just the media, because we already know the media is making sure that they don't want to see you reproduce. They're trying to breed us out. And we are allowing it willfully. And then when black women speak about it, we're masculine. We're too pro-black. But these are the
Mhm.
same very women that want to see you and your children, your legacy. Where you got women who will hold your legacy down if you had one, if you had a plan for one. Because a lot of men
Mhm.
don't even have a plan. They don't even know. They don't even know how to be confident in their decisions. Are we to blame for that? Am I to do I should I I can empathize with you, yes, but it comes to a point if I can see that there is a problem and you can't.
Then we're definitely not working on it together.
I don't
And
know.
this is
Maybe
the
I'm
thing.
in another
I
world.
don't, and that's why I want to move away from are we blaming anybody and not looking inward? Because I think the moment that anyone feels as if they are being blamed, that's when all the breakdown and the shutdown happens. So I want to say back to the questions again that I'm asking men and women. Do we understand what it is that we say we want? Are we willing to commit to the responsibility and the accountability for the commitment that we say we desire? If the answer to those, and I do not know your answer, don't need to know your answer, but it is something you should be asking yourself because that's the crux of what we're talking about, the work needed, the necessary steps that are going to have to happen at right at that point. That's the fork in the road. That's where the decision lies. That I, as an individual, male or female, whatever I have chosen to decide to do about how I show up in my community, what does it look like to be the person that I say I want to be? And how does that help to support my community, my partnerships, my love relationships, my interpersonal relationships? That's a personal journey to get to the other side of that. And that your personal journey shows up in conjunction with all these other personal journeys for the good of the entire community. But if we can't decide on if we even want the responsibility, then you're talking on a non-starter. If every player that we saw go out on the basketball field, I mean on the basketball court and on the football field was like, I don't really know if I want to play football. We'd be like, why are you playing on the field? Why are you here? Why are you suited up? Why are you rah rah and the cheerleaders are out here, the people are in the stands. Why are you on the field if you don't want to play football? So rather than asking the men from a female point of view or the women or the men or the men asking the females from the male point of view, what have you asked yourself? Men, are these statistics wrong? Are you flooding, running out looking for women to have committed relationships with that include accountability and responsibility and everything that that entails, good, bad, ugly, and forever? Is that what you are offering women when you say, hey, I'm a good guy? I'm responsible. I'm ready. I'm ready to be married. Is that what you are offering? Because I think that's the non starter. I think you think that's what you offer, but you don't communicate that. You don't share that in your thought process. You don't have verbiage that's around that. You don't surround yourself with other couples so that you can be learning. You don't disclose what the vision is for the relationship. You don't put yourself in a financial situation so that whoever you say that you're going to be accountable and responsible to, that you can financially provide for that unit that you have decided to protect. Women, same thing. Are you dealing with dudes who not the right caliber? Are you making sure that you're ready for the commitment and the accountability and the responsibility of a marriage, a contract? The thing that the United States government is the only thing they recognize. There is no measure for your love. There is no measure for how much you like that other person and how much y'all are booed up. There's no measure for that. Zero. You're muted.
Thank you very much. What about the men? who say they don't believe in contractual marriages, so they don't want to go in front of the court. Like they don't, they'll be committed to you, but not
So
just
that's
on
why I
paper.
said, okay, so how does your commitment ensure me in the event of your death?
Okay, so if they say, I don't know what they
How
would.
how does your commitment protect me in the property that we create, build, and invest in?
I would like to ask some of the men what do they say, but I've heard this for a very long time now.
How
In
does your
traditional
commitment
marriage.
to me how does your commitment to me protect the medical decisions that we have to make for the children we create?
Okay, so say if they say we'll do a contractual agreement, we'll set things up just as if we were
So
married,
you're
but
okay with that contract, but not the marriage contract? What's the difference? They're
I don't
both
know. I
binding
can't answer
legally.
that.
They're
I
both
would love some
binding
men who
legally.
think that. That would love to be. I don't know, but I've heard this for a very long time. And I always say, it's this game that we a card player. It's not be old school. It's called BS. Bullshit. So it's a card play that we play. It's called BS. So I call BS on that. So I don't know, but maybe a lot of themselves they call themselves Moors or sovereign citizens or people who
Well,
don't
what
believe in the government.
well,
So
Charles said there are civil laws and common law styles. Not every state recognizes common law.
correct.
Common law is only after a certain amount of years. And again, common law does not provide anything other than the protection of 9/10 of the law. Whatever you're in possession of is what you own.
Yeah, I agree with that. So and a lot of times too, I think I know in Michigan for sure, if you're married in Michigan, it's no longer okay. So when you're married and your husband get property outside of marriage, the wife had to put her name on the marriage, on that particular mortgage. Well, a couple years ago, Michigan no longer
Mm.
does that anymore.
Well,
So
it's been actually
now,
probably more than even probably longer than that. But that was actually in the
well, no,
reverse.
In Michigan, like in
Yeah,
Michigan, it was
yeah.
called something where you automatically,
You
if you're
could not
married,
sell property or own an asset without
right?
your spouse
In every
also
that's the
being
state law.
notified that they
Yes,
would release their ownership to that possession of any property or asset before you could
yes.
sell it. You could not
So
sell it without a signature.
Now Michigan, you can do it without your wife permission now. Before, up until
Mhm.
I was working at the real estate office when it happened, so a few
Mhm.
years ago. It's very new because all the
Mhm.
way up until I forgot what it's called. It's called some kind of law. I don't remember. But now in Michigan, the husband is no longer required to have his wife, or she's not entitled to any of that business. So now women should be getting prenups. And I also actually to be another topic. I'm going to actually have this as well as I believe women should pay child support. So like a lot of times women the child
But
should
see,
live with the man.
child support is never supposed to be decided by male or female. The child support is decided between custody and who is in the best position for custody. And then it's based on the income of the opposite parent's financial status to provide care while that child is in the other parent's um, um,
Custody
forgetting what the
or
word
like
is. No, it's not just custody. It's
rental or like
can't remember the word right now. Oh my gosh, I hate when that happens. But if I have 51% of the physical custody, the physical custody of the child because a court decided that their
but
care
is this state
is a
on
state.
state by
Yes.
state, right? So we in Michigan, by the way. So there's people that's watching in different states. So we are in Michigan, so it's totally different. Every state is
So,
totally different.
there, the default for the friend of the court, which is the magistrate, really for the
Not
regular
really
court,
real, by
they
the way.
don't. Well, it's not a
It's called
court. They
the
do the
friend
they do
of
the
the
administrative
court.
work of a regular court. They do not have
I
the authority
know.
of the courts. Now, I know
I,
you know. I'm telling the
I
people
yeah,
who don't
that they
understand
be like people be
because
like,
there's a lot of
oh,
people. Well, it's a
yep.
lot of people who cannot understand how friend of the court is all up in their legal business. Um, but that is why they do. Just like when you go to traffic court, that is a magistrate. That's not a judge that is deciding on whether or not your case may get moved into a regular court, but you're dealing with a magistrate, which is just an administrator or a very highly acknowledged and honored um, mm, administrative assistant to the court. Friend of the court works the same way. So going back, every state should be monetizing the child support based on the income of the opposite parent who does not have physical custody. So one parent, regardless if it's the husband or the wife or the mother or the father, should be a determination of where is the child best fit for physical custody. And then whoever is the parent that does not have physical custody, rated by their income and their incremental income levels to determine how much of the income in percentage or amount that should go to the child support based on similar or custom living that the child had while the couple was together.
Yes. So, I mean, I think this topic can go so far and so in depth because we're definitely in the 2 hour mark. I want to thank
Yes.
everybody.
But yeah.
Tia Marie, this is something that I think can be broken down in so many levels because really, are we talking about those conversations prior to us getting? So let me just ask you this question before we kind of close out, just to kind of help single people who really need to have that conversation with the person they're dating. We need conversation, right? Is that what you're saying? We need to have these conversations. We need to have like a plan. Like, is it up to the man to have the plan? Is it up to the woman, or like the woman should have the standards? Like how? What will be your suggestion for someone like myself? And you really care about me. So pretend that you know me and you care about me and you want the best for me. I'm your little big sister.
So
What would
first of all, little big sisters.
little big sister?
Uh,
I'm,
one of the
I'm
things that
little
I would
sister,
ask
actually.
you to do, one of the
That's not me.
things that I would ask you to do would be the first part of your first part of your journey looks like the journey inward, and I think you mentioned that earlier. The second part of that looks like what are the questions that you need to be asking yourself about yourself and how you show up in the world. What does your posture look like in terms of how you talk, how you walk, how you think? What does that look like? And so when I say that you are not marriage material, dot, 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 what I would like to say is you're not that yet. If this is the path you want to go down, that starts to look like a lot of tangible things. If you want someone to believe that you are marriage material, then they need to see your work. They need to see what you're doing. They need to see and know and feel that they can have a trustworthy, transparent, verbal, um, mental, social, and emotional conversation with you, and they can see cues from your behavior that you are ready for the commitment of the responsibility and the accountability required to be in that relationship. You have to have discerning mentality and support to maintain your discerning mentality with a accountability partner in your journey as a all-in-one, as my pastor's wife calls it. She doesn't use the word singles, and I love that. um, but to be an all-in-one person so that when you meet your significant other and your mate that you hope to spend the rest of your life with, as somebody at the top of the hour had mentioned, that they are at an age now that they would like a lifelong partner, right? And I do believe in second chances. I would say do that work first. Those are your first two steps. The next thing is surround yourself with other people who have healthy, joyous relationships, ones that you would like to emulate. And if you are a married couple, share your couple life with other people. Let them see what that joy looks like. Let them see what it looks like to be in a relationship and that it has all of the nurturing. Most of my friends, I realized over the years, because I have been married, um, I stayed surrounded by married couples. Why? Because I want marriage in my life. I want marriage in my life, not to, infiltrate married couples, but glean from them what is joyous, what is sustainable, what makes their marriage work. And you are often going to hear the word communication. You're also going to hear that they make a commitment to the vision of them as a relationship and for whatever purpose they have come together. The other thing that I will say is, um, work on your financial situation. I do believe that higher education is of the utmost usefulness to a couple. I don't believe that any couple is helped when someone isn't furthering their education in whatever way that looks like, whether they further it as a in a formal institution that provides education or a skilled trade. At every level, you should be with someone who not only wants to improve themselves, but to help you improve yourself. If you have someone that is latent, who doesn't care, who is lackadaisical about what that grind looks like, please run in the other direction. It will do nothing but slow you down in your process. The other thing that I will say is, I encourage you to figure out some of the mental stuff in the relationship first before you even attempt to, to explore the physical parts. I have made the mistake over and over again in the past, letting physical be the thing that led the relationship as opposed to our mental, social, and emotional well being. So take the time to make sure that you are strengthening your mental and conversational relationship first. And that's with everybody before you begin any kind of physical relationship. Reserve that physical part, that intimacy, for the person that will commit to you with the responsibility and the accountability of a legal marriage, as the United States recognizes it, because I don't know where you have the other protections that a couple can rest their future on in any of those other scenarios. I'm open to hearing them. If you live in a state that protects you and your boyfriend being boyfriend and girlfriend from a legal point of view, the way marriage is protected legally, I would love to hear it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do want to know what that experience is. I have not seen it. I know that the United States protects and understands and recognizes a legal marriage as a contract and puts in protections, laws, and policies, and even financial benefits for doing so. I would love to see where being a boyfriend and girlfriend does that and offers the same protection to children. The other thing that I would tell you to do is read up about what kind of relationship you would like to have so that when you get into one you can articulate it. If marriage is something that you want, talk about marriage as if it is already in your future. Talk about marriage as something that you're aspiring to, so that other people that you talk to, as they hear that, the gentleman or the young lady who want the same things that you want will be attracted to that language, will be attracted to the way you position yourself and posture yourself. The other thing that I will say is keep trying. What I will say is a renewed spirit and a renewed mind are what is attractive to other people. If you are still in a very difficult, challenged, hurtful state, it will be very, very hard for someone to feel attracted to that. You know, right? When you're still in those midst and those throes of a breakup or a really bad relationship history, you probably are not yet suited or can't quite see clearly what I'm talking about. And when I talk about having a renewed spirit and a renewed mind and a joy about life and um, a vivacious zest for life, people who see that, who want the same thing and want to continue to see you in that space, will be gravitating towards you. And I do hope that you will find whoever is the match for you to maintain that zest that you have for life. I also will ask you to be open to trust, open to faith, and open to trust, and open to love as you understand it and as you would like to see it onto you, be open to that. It is very hard to ask for trust if you're not a trustful person and not open to being trusting. It's hard to ask for loyalty when you struggle with loyalty for yourself. It is difficult to give love and to bask in love when you have difficulty knowing if you actually love yourself. And I will say that every human being is deserving of love. We have been tattered, we've been stepped on, we've been abused and misused and unappreciated over and over and over again. But we are very, very resilient. We are so resilient. Everybody that within the sound of my voice this evening has experienced probably one or more of those things, sometimes at the same time. But you are here. You're here tonight to learn. You're here tonight to hear from other people. You came here tonight with an open mind and an open spirit, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that you spent this time with me. I do not take it for granted. I tell you guys every time I cherish the time that I get to have with you because I know that connection is what people want. They don't want attention, they want attachment, they want to know that they belong. And so in my space, you will always be respected. I will always give you an opportunity to be heard, and I will always listen so that I can understand and continue to learn. Thank you all. I want to thank and do a few shout outs. I'm literally going to try to remember to thank everybody. I want to thank Charles Alexander. I want to thank the beautiful one. I want to thank Reps. I want to thank some of the other guests that we had earlier on. I believe one was Checkmate. And if I missed your name, just know that I do appreciate you and I'm glad that you came. Please come and join me again. Please subscribe. Please like this video and any other videos. I'm working on tightening these up, guys. I'm sorry, there's just so much content to cover, but thank you for staying the whole 2 hours and skipping through and going back. I also invite you to help us to improve the show. I'm sure you saw some things tonight that you would love to see improve. I want to see them improve as well. So please help us out. We also make sure that our love that we show and the work that we do here on this page extends out into the community and so that we can help other people do what we're doing as well as strengthen what I believe is a driving purpose for me, which is our Black families. They need us and they need us to work together. And I do believe we're capable of doing so. So thank you to my producers of this show, which is the Benjamin Brand Media. Thank you to Ra Asset, my co-host and combative with a nice voice. Thank you to our listeners and our subscribers. Thank you to always to my family and my God. I appreciate every single subscriber and view and share. So don't think I don't look attention. Please feel free to put comments in the comment section. Keep them clean. I'm respectful because we're going to honor each other. I honor our Black men, I honor our Black children, and I am particularly in honor of our Black sisters. Thank you all, and come back and see us again. We have a show that will hopefully be airing this weekend. I will be, oh, so let me tell you where I'll be. Tomorrow, I will be doing the parent camp at Northville High School on virtual. So if you want to know more about it, go to the Northville website, parent camp link, and the Northville Parents of African American Students will be presenting at our parent camp tomorrow. I will also be spending some time with my Sisters of Style. We will be working together to continue to make Style a really great organization. Style stands for Sisters Teaching Young Ladies Excellence. And that's what we model so that they have a guide for what excellence looks like. And we honor them in their journey and are there to pick up and support them if they fall. And we're there to make sure that they feel loved and supported along the way. So if you believe in what I believe in and you want to see an opportunity for me to keep doing it, please make sure that you send us a donation. We do appreciate it. And I am extremely fiscally responsible with every dollar that we get to make sure it shows right back up in the community. Thank you all. I love you for your support. And I hope to see you on our next episode, which will either air sometime this weekend or we will also be doing a program on Sunday. And we have some great things in store for you. So please come back and see me. Raasa, did you want to say anything before we end the show?
No, I appreciate you having me and giving me the opportunity. I love the conversation. I can't wait to continue it. Like I have more questions, but thank you.
Oh, yeah, there will definitely be more questions. And again, I'm still learning. So you all, this platform is our platform. So that's why I often share your comments. I think about deeper what you shared. So this is our community platform, and this is where we get to ask questions, share ideas, continue to debate. Debate is a good, but just make sure that we're respectful because we're all human and all capable of understanding and respecting each other. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know Valentine's Day is on Monday, so I'm sending out my kisses and my love to all of you. And I hope that you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, that you don't eat too much chocolate. Or if you would like to send me chocolate, so I do love chocolate. Oh, I do want to say that one of my listeners, one of my, I think, biggest fans, was able to send me a few gifts for Valentine's Day. So thank you. I do want to acknowledge that. So big hearts, big, big, big hearts. So yes, if you'd like to send me something too, please feel free. I will try to feature it on the show. I wasn't prepared to feature it tonight, so I forgot. But I am happy to say if you have a brand or a product that you would like for me to add as a commercial to the program, I'm happy to do that as well. And please feel free to in the chat to share Black businesses, Black counselors, any support for our Black community. This is our community channel. So thank you for joining Kindred Souls with Tia Marie this Friday night for our Soulful Fridays. Check out the Playing Politics channel where we talk a little bit more about business and how to show up as a citizen. And then join me on Sundays where we talk about family, talk about our children, and how we can be better people to show up for them. Lots happened in the Michigan area with our children, and I just want to make sure that they have what they need from us in order to thrive each week. So thank you. I love you all, love my family. Thank you for the support, and like and subscribe, guys. We're almost at 100 subscribers. So thank you, guys. Good night. Bye bye.